Hi, engineers. Feeling nervous about your next coding interview? You're in the right place. So, let's solve another classic interview problem, length of the last word. Given a string s consisting of words and spaces, return the length of the last word in the string. A word is a maximal substring consisting of non-space characters only. Let's rephrase it in plain English. We take the sentence, ignore any spaces at the end, find the final word, and report how many characters it has. First, let's set up 3 example inputs so we can test them later. We create a variable named s1 as code crack rocks. Then, we create a variable named s2 as keep it simple with extra spaces at the end and in the middle. And finally, we create a variable named s3 as edge cases are fun with a few spaces at the end. So, how do we solve it the beginner way? We trim the string to remove leading and trailing spaces, split it into words, and take the last one's length. This is simple and very readable. Here's the code for the first solution. We create a function named lastLen that takes one input named s. Inside this function, first we declare a variable named parts and set parts to s, trimmed, and then split by 1 or more spaces. Then we look at the last word inside parts, count its characters, and return that number. Good. Now, let's test the solution with our variables. We write a console log of lastLen of s1, then a console log of lastLen of s2, and a console log of lastLen of s3. When we run the file in the terminal, the expected results in this order should be 5 for the first one, 6 for the second one, and 3 for the third one. Now, let's create a more advanced solution with constant extra space. We will scan from the end of the string. First, we skip any trailing spaces. Then we count characters until we hit a space or the start of the string. The count we collected is the length of the last word. Here is the code for the advanced solution. We create a function named lastLenScan that takes one input named s. Inside the function, first we declare a variable named I and set I to s, length -1, so we start at the last character. Then we create a while loop that runs while I is greater than or equal to 0, and the character at s at I is equal to a space. Inside this loop, we decrease I to skip trailing spaces. Next, we declare a variable named len and set len to 0. Then we create another while loop that runs while I is greater than or equal to 0, and the character at s at I is not equal to a space. Inside this loop, we increase len by 1 and decrease I by 1 to count the characters of the last word. After the loop finishes, we return len. Now, we test the advanced solution with the same variables. We write a console log of lastLenScan of s1, then a console log of lastLenScan of s2, and a console log of lastLenScan of s3. When we run it, the expected outputs are the same as before, 5 for the first one, 6 for the second one, and 3 for the third one. Now you're 1% smarter. The cheat code is consistency, so keep boosting your brain. Make it your daily routine, and you will nail your next interview. Same rhythm tomorrow at Code Crack Interviews.